don't see Derek. How about Jason Abraham? All right, Mr. Abraham, if you'll come up.
Commissioners, with your permission, could I give y'all something that I prepared? It's the same. I've got 7 of them. Thank you. Thank you, first of all, for the opportunity, giving me a few minutes to speak with you. I've been a resident of Chilton County for 12 years. For more than 35 years, I've been in the loss prevention field, which with a focus on investigation, safety, and integrity issues. I also happen to own a small business here in Chilton County, a very small candle business, and I'm also a member of the East Chilton Fire Department for the last 3 years. My wife and I are very proud to call Chilton County our home. Speaking here today was not an easy decision for me because I'm not a big fan of HOA-style regulations. That's just me. I personally feel as though the less regulations, the better. However, that said, I believe strongly in the matter I bring forth for consideration, as it affects many within Chilton County. I know this because I've spoken with dozens of my neighbors and fellow citizens. By definition, a yard sale should be temporary. Otherwise, I would think it could be classified as a business. When a yard sale takes place 7 days a week, 365 days a year, it undermines local and small businesses that go to great lengths to follow laws and guidelines. These same businesses that go to the trouble to buy a business license and pay monthly sales tax and file taxes annually. Also, aesthetically, perpetual yard sales lead to cluttered and unsightly areas. Community aesthetics are severely downgraded. It affects home and property values. It also doesn't send a very positive message to those visiting or traveling through our county. Perpetual yard sales present a health risk by presenting potential for pest infestations, and at the same time increasing litter and debris in both public and private spaces. At the very least, yard sales on private property but that are visible from public roads should have some regulations, such as maybe time restraints, maybe 3 days. Again, if a yard sale isn't temporary, shouldn't it be classified as a business if it's permanent? A simple and affordable permit system could be implemented so that the community members could easily obtain a permit online or in person. When community members fail to comply with one of the proposed permits or regulations, a small fine could be imposed in addition to the cost of the permit. Previous inquiries and requests by others within the community, people that I've spoken with, my neighbors, have said their concerns have been met with there's nothing we can do, or maybe you should reach out to the health department. But I would like to believe there's something we can do as concerned members of Chilton County. Dozens of municipalities have already enacted yard sale permit requirements. If a municipality, and keep in mind, I'm not a lawmaker, this was just my version. If a municipality has or enacts a yard sale permit requirement, this could supersede the need for a county permit. The point being that a permit would be required by either or, not both a county and a municipality. Adopting a proposal to regulate yard sales is meant to encourage participation, not hinder it. Implementing the right permit system would provide a quick, affordable, and accessible convenience to Chilton County citizens. It would also generate, don't get your hopes up, albeit very small, extra revenue for the county and minimize health and safety risks. At the same time, it will instill community pride, visual appeal, and ensure fairness to small businesses in our community. I do appreciate y'all giving me an opportunity to speak with you. And that photograph that I give y'all was just one example of something that people in my community have to look at and have had to for several years.
Will you share the address? Sorry. You share the address?
I don't have the address. I can tell you the
County Road?
What county road?
County Road 32. and it's been that way for years.
Okay, thank you.
Do you live on that road?
Technically, that's where my
Or close to
mailbox is.
Who is the powers provider? Who
Sir?
provides the power? Is it Alabama
Alabama
Power?
Power is me, but I have neighbors next door that are on co-op. So
But you don't know what this one is.
No, and I do want to stress, this is not a vendetta. I'm not out to call any particular citizen out. It's something that if other people that I've spoken with have said they brought forth these concerns and they were sort of met with, there's nothing you can do, maybe contact the health department. When I came forward, what I was told, and the reason I'm here is maybe you could talk in front of the commissioners. And so that's why I'm here to you guys today, to speak, to see if there's something that could benefit the county, help us keep Chilton County a place that we're all proud to be in. But that is County Road 32.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, I have one who signed up to speak.
Need these back.
I don't need them unless y'all just want to give them back.
No, keep mine. Jim Powers?
My name's Jim Powers, and I put a subdivision in down at Creekside, in 2007 and 2008. And I'm here to discuss the approval of my road. And the reason why I'm here is that I have a letter from Tony Ware, the engineer, approving my road. Let y'all read it for me.
Have you had a current inspection on this since May 15th, 2023?
Yes, Keith and I've been in there.
And
What was thrown up was doesn't meet 2015 specs, which I'm here to talk about that it doesn't have to meet 2015 specs, because this road was built in 2007, 8, and approved by, y'all's engineer approving the road, that it was, the new specs on the, 2015 requires a 21-foot road. I have my plot plan approved, record map approved for 18-foot wide road. In the letter, it says approved 18-foot wide road. And so the 2015 specs, doesn't apply to me because it was done way before that, and Tony, told me how to do it with the chip seal.
well,
I
according
met with
to,
him and, talked to him to tell me how to bring the road up to his specs. And we met, he told me, he put it in writing, telling me, and it talks about in the letter what I did. So he sent an employee down there to, inspect my contractor to make sure he did it right. But then before then, on my steep slopes, I was having trouble with the chip seal holding on the steep slope. So I hired a contractor to come in there and put 2-inch asphalt. My road's 1 mile long, and I've got about half of it in 2-inch asphalt. So I don't have any, for the last 6 years or whatever, there's no cracks or anything in the asphalt or anything, and the rest of the road's in real good shape. And so I'm here to, just, saying that, I'm here to tell you that a written letter that was approved by your engineer, and, I'm asking y'all to honor this letter And to
You had a
take,
copy of that letter?
that's it right there,
This letter here is 2022.
huh?
This letter's 2022, and it says if it's approved
Yeah,
May 15th, 2023.
that's right.
So there's nothing here saying it was approved
It
May
said
15th.
it was approved and my 1 year started at that date.
Yeah, and at that time, another inspection will be performed
That's what we
by the
did.
road.
That's
Well,
what
where's
he,
the letter saying it's acceptable? I mean, we gotta have that before we can go forward with anything.
well, I'm here to say that he keeps saying that it's not up to 2015 specs. And wasn't required to do it to 2015 specs. There's no way I can be required to do a road when I built it in 2008 under the specs of the engineer, and now you're telling me I gotta do it under 2015? There's no way that's right.
So,
Why are you waiting till now to come for us to take it over? Why did you not come?
I came a year, I've been working on this for the last year.
Yeah,
I
but
met- I
what
met with-
happened before that, though? That's the question. What happened between 2008 and 2022?
I kept it up. I was required, Tony, I had to keep the
Well,
road up and everything
then you
until I
did-
got 80% of the houses built, which I was shocked when I put the road in 2008, when Tony said, hey, I can't approve, the road till you do it, 80% of the houses are built. And I built, it took me to 2022 because of the sales of the lot till I got 80% of the houses built. And that's when I went to Tony and told him, I'm ready to do my 1 year and, get it so I can start my 1 year, maintenance for me requiring it.
How many lots do you have in there, Mr. Powers?
There's about, 10 lots and there's 8 houses on it. There's not but 2 people that live there. It's just weekend houses.
Okay,
And
so,
that's all.
so 10 lots, but 8 of them are built on.
Uh-huh.
So you got 2 that are not built on.
Right, just the people own them. They bought 2 lots from me and they just, if they just wanted
No,
more
so you
property.
still don't own any of it?
No, I don't know any more. I don't know any more lots. No, sir.
and you completed the sale of the 8th lot to reach the 80% when, Mr. Powers?
22, when I went to Tony and said, hey, I've reached your 80% of houses built. And he agreed. We went and counted the houses and he agreed that, we could, bring my road up to his spec. And then my 1 year, maintenance that I had to keep up for 1 year, would be done. But during that time, Tony retired. Heath comes in and first thing he says is, I'm sorry, but we can't take it over. It doesn't meet 2015 specs. And I came to that subdivision meeting several months ago when y'all had it open to the public and discussed that my road does not have to be under 2015 specs. Now, if I didn't have anything in writing, I can understand that, but I've got something in writing saying that Tony accepted my road.
Do you have that with you?
That's yours.
This doesn't say that he accepted it. This doesn't say anything.
It says he approved it. I approved road, built certain specs.
It
And
said
your
that
1 year
after
starts.
another inspection, at that time, another inspection will be performed, speaking of May 15th, 2023, by
Yep.
road department personnel, and if the road is found to be in good shape, a recommendation to the Chilton County Commission will be made for County Road 654 to be included in the county road system. We haven't gotten a letter from the engineer saying
Yeah,
that
you
road's
have
up to
to.
spec.
You've got letters and here's the whole booklet that he sent y'all, right here. And he says it's gotta meet 2015 specs. And I don't agree that I have to meet 2015 specs, cause it's approved in 2007. Tony approved it in 2022. Now, if Tony had came to me and said, hey, we got a problem here, I shouldn't have approved this for 18-foot wide road, I made a mistake, you know. Now they've enforced in 2015, and I'm sorry, Jim, but, you know, we gotta do something, but he didn't do that. He approved the 18-foot wide road, and my plot plan says 18-foot wide road.
Is that the difference between the 20 or 2007 or 8 code to the 2015 is?
The 2015 code, I can't even come close to meet that. I mean, he's talking about 4 inches of asphalt over the road and everything else. I mean, there's no
What
way.
about the width of the road? They the
No.
same?
No, I can't get 21 feet. I mean, I built my road to 18 foot with the, the sides beside it and everything for the slopes and that type of thing. So there's no way I can do it 20.
I don't understand how the other commission.
So, Mr. Powers,
Yes, ma'am.
and just what the letter reads, and if the road is found to be in good shape,
Right?
and you said that, you were told that it did not meet the specifications, so the
And-
clarity
yeah,
that's
yeah.
needed.
The road is in great shape. He just keeps throwing up 2015 specs. 2015 specs requires 4 inches of asphalt on the road, all these kind of specs that I don't even come close to meeting. The road is in great shape. Heath and I've been down there, and what I understand, that if I clean my ditches out, there's some edges on the road I need to repair and sweep the roads. He said, I think, everything would be fine, but.
I would have to look at the subdivision regulations regarding that road. That's what would be pertinent to me.
Well,
If I had to make a
what
decision
Tony
on it,
didn't
because I
have-
want,
What's bad is Tony, Heath has looked through his office, Tony did not have any specs that he went by himself. Heath cannot find it. I've talked to him several times about
Well,
that,
he's-
and he
he's
can't find anything in writing.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Powers, I'm Roger Perkins, by
Yes,
the way. In 2022, May 16th, 2022 is what this says your time would start. That was at the completion of the 80% mark, where you basically had 88 of the 10
Yep.
available lots had been started construction or been constructed
Houses
on,
were
right?
built, Completed.
Do you have, it says at that time, another inspection will be performed by road department personnel. Do you have that particular inspection?
He wouldn't go look at it.
So the,
He rode down there.
Which one is he?
Heath.
Heath.
Yeah, he rode
no,
down.
well,
He
I
got-
guess, yeah.
He rode
it's-
down there and called me back and said, I'm sorry, it doesn't meet 2015 specs. And that's when all the meetings and turmoil started, is when he kept throwing 2015 specs up in my face.
What,
22, 20,
23.
23.
now 22,
23.
when you, let me clarify what I'm saying. So,
Second one.
in basically May of 2022, you completed the 8th lot, which gives you the 80%, at that time, the requirement, whatever it may have been.
Right.
All right. Then you were supposed to have another inspection done,
1 year later.
performed by the road department personnel. The question is that particular inspection, was that particular inspection done in May of 2022?
Yes, sir.
Who did that?
Heath,
Not 22,
23.
23.
So-
23, 1 year later.
All right, so it wasn't done on the 80th, when you got the final lot done at 8, we didn't just run out there and do inspection. So there was a year that passed between the time.
Because my 1 year started May 24th, 2022,
All right, so 2023, the inspection was then done.
done by Heath. And he came back with me and this, he emailed all this to y'all. I mean, like 10 pages thick of
Okay.
2015 specs. And-
Do you have anything that documents that your road will be accepted under the 2007 subdivision specs?
That letter's all I've got. And I've got his specs on my plat plan, 18-foot wide, chip seal to his specs, written on that letter.
Is the base included on the specs?
This base,
The base, yeah.
no, Tony didn't require it. I did compaction tests before I paved it back in 2007, 2008, and they were approved by Tony before I put my, road in then. The road, I put in 2007. The road, like I told you, on the hills, didn't hold up on the chip seal. So I put in the 2-inch asphalt, over half of it. And I put another coat of chip seal on it, okay? So that's the second one. Tony comes in and says, I want you to put another coat of chip seal on the road before we can start your 1-year inspection. I hire a contractor, he sends a man down there, I put another coat of chip seal on the area the whole road that needed it, and then he sends me that letter. So that really, in some areas, that road has 3 coats of chip seal.
What, if you don't mind, I'm gonna ask Heath a question. What's the, have you seen the road, Heath? That he's talking about?
I have. When I started in March 23, that's when Mr. Powers contacted me about the letter he had received from the previous engineer, and it was due for it called for a 1-year inspection, so I inspected it. Me and Matt Epperson and Terry went down there and took pictures. The road was, it was built probably around 2007, 2008, so there were defects, cracking, shoulder issues. A good portion of it was chip seal, and there was portions of it that was hot mix where, as he said, that previous year, Terry had been down there and inspected the contractor when he widened some areas and had put some hot mix down. But even those areas, there was some cracking going on in those areas as well. So I did research, when everything was approved, the plats were approved in 2007, 2008. And I never was able to find any subdivision road regulations prior to the 2015 ones. And of course, we have numerous roads all across the county that were built to different standards. So I'm not sure there was one. Nobody has been able to provide those to me. So there's a couple issues. One, I don't know what the requirements were before when Mr. Powers got his plat approved. Even though he did get the road approved, that doesn't mean the commission is accepting it or it was gonna meet their standards. A lot of roads today are even approved with the fact that they're gonna remain private, remain in possession of the developer's ownership. So just because the commission adopts a plat doesn't mean they're gonna accept the road for maintenance. So I think one of the things maybe Mr. Powers has, though, that was just the fact that since there wasn't any, at that time, there weren't any standards for the county to say if you meet these standards, we'll accept it in the future. When he built it, it's like he didn't have an option. And it's not really good because, we've seen this so many times, eventually the owner of the road, he moves or he passes away and there's nobody to maintain the road. And those residents, those 10 lots aren't gonna have anybody, I guess they could, go to his estate but there may not be anybody to maintain the road. And I think what Mr. Powers is trying to do is a notable thing and trying to see that the road is maintained past, into the future. But it does have quite numerous defects because it is just a chip seal road. As we talked about, even interstates have to have maintenance. And this road does have cracking, it has had potholes, and he has performed some maintenance of patching the potholes and cutting the limbs back from time to time. And as he said, it definitely doesn't meet the requirements of today's regulations, that the basing and the asphalt, so.
I would say, that get Heath to go down and look at it, tell him what he's got to do before we take it. I mean, you really waited, let your time run out before you come back. You waited too long to come back and say, hey, I want you to set up the road. Really, maybe I'm thinking you should have come back when it was in good shape.
Well, I couldn't,
Why?
because I had to wait, I had 80% of the road.
80% wasn't sold at that time.
Yeah, 80% of
And
the.
you coming back right on time, so you're gonna have to, this man here is gonna have to say that we can accept it, is what I would say.
Well, I would also say that I haven't found anything that required 80%. I don't think that was a requirement. I did search the minutes to try to find something maybe that Tony had gone to the commission to get approval to write this letter. but I never found anything where the commission had approved anything for Tony to give this letter, to Mr. Powers. So it may have been something he may have done on his own.
Heath, you mentioned that you and somebody named Terry, I don't want the last name, but who is Terry? What is his title? What does he do? Does he work for us?
Assistant engineer and engineering assistant.
Okay.
Is,
And you sent Terry down there to observe,
in 2022, the previous county engineer had met with Mr. Powers, sent him the letter that if he, or talked to him about improving certain areas that had failed. And so I guess it appears that Mr. Powers said that he would get a contractor to repair those issues that Tony had pointed out. And so Tony had the engineering assistant for the Chilton County Road Department to be on site when the contractor was working and just, I guess, watch the lay down of the asphalt.
okay. What was the intent of that? I know you just verbalized it, but really deeper than that, what's the intent of that? And you probably know where I'm going here.
I don't know what all Tony had told him as far as how much needed to be widened. There was some widening done. There was also some of the areas on the steep hills. There's probably cracking and base failures going on, and that's what this was to do, was try to maybe patch some of those or maybe stop future issues. But
Do we routinely send our people out to help developers, whether we're gonna accept the road or not accept the road? Do we tend to send our engineers or assistant engineers out to observe their project?
well, we're supposed to by even the current regulations.
So this
We're
was
supposed to have a testing company.
This was usual and customary, is what you're saying, for us to do that?
We have, like I said, over 200 non-CAM maintained roads, and even some of those are asphalted even with thicker asphalt and even are in better condition than Mr. Powers. I'm not sure when they were built, but I have seen some.
Why don't we just table this till our next meeting, let me and Heath ride down there and look at it, and I'll get back with y'all on what he thinks needs to be done, and then we'll give Mr. Powers the answer.
Can I go with you on that day?
Sure.
Okay,
All right, sounds like a plan.
that's fine, by all means. Okay,
All right,
thanks for y'all's time.
Thank you.
okay, everybody good with the sheriff's request? Does Gerald need to go over those? Pretty much routine,
I'm good.
okay?
There's no expenditures in it.
No expenditures. Commission office,
I will be asking for a resolution to approve a Pitney Bowes renewal for our postage meter. We've been real happy with the model that we have. You're looking at $178.56 monthly times 60 months, and the contract has been in your paperwork if you want to look that over further.
okay.
I'm asking that we resolve to earmark money for the Animal Control Department. We had put $150 in there for renovations to the existing building. And I would love to move that money to the money market account so that we would have a better return on it. We are eligible to take out 6 withdrawals without penalty in any month, so if you would see fit to approve that. The Cassidy Company, this is the ongoing water improvement project. Of course, they have a bill in there for $3,200 to be approved. The publishing of the unaudited financial statement, which you have, I'm happy to answer any questions about it that you might have. However, I will, in the regular meeting tomorrow night, go over it a little bit more thoroughly and give you some more time to look at it. But if you have any questions, by all means, just call me at the office, and I'll be glad to answer them. Also, I would seek a resolution to approve advertising for Assistant Director and Animal Techs for the Animal Control Department. And I sent out our job description for the assistant. I think you had already received the tech job descriptions in the past. There again, if you have any questions about any of it, by all means, give me a call.
If y'all would resend the tech, I've got the director and the assistant director, I don't have the
Oh, you don't have the okay, I'll be glad to do that.
Excuse me, I missed it.
I just asked her to send, we now have the director and the assistant director job descriptions, and evidently there was an email with some text on it, and my email's been messed up, so I need the tech job description.
Would you need one as well?
Absolutely.
Okay. Also, this is the only meeting in December, and I just would ask that we be allowed to pay bills that are budgeted, utilities, that sort of thing, et cetera, through the end of the year. And also what bills may come in that are related to our heating problems that we had. So if we could get that approved and let us continue to pay our bills through until the mid-January. Other than that, do not forget, some of you have classes tomorrow, starting tomorrow and Wednesday, and then legislative conference is Wednesday and Thursday. Commissioners' breakfast will be on the 20th. The sheriff's gathering will be this Thursday at 6. And I am taking an extended, I wanted to let you know that I'd be taking an extended vacation in January. I'll be gone for 2 full weeks. There's nothing this lady right here can't handle, so just wanted you to know that I would not be here for 2 weeks.
Okay,
That's all I got.
thank you, ma'am. All right, Heath. When I say you got 5 minutes, you got 5 minutes. I'll turn your mic off.
Let's see here. Okay, first of all, I'd like to talk, thank you for letting me have the 5 minutes, and I'll first ask that, it's typical that every year we have 3 rotary mowers, and each year we try to rotate those and get a new one and sell an old one. And, we had budgeted for this mower, and, I think it's about, we've talked, and it's about 10 weeks before we can get the mower once we order it, and I would like to go ahead and request approval to purchase a bushwhacker mower, and this will be utilizing the state bid, the Alabama state bid. Any questions concerning the purchase of the mower? All right, next, let's see here. We talked about, we had someone come in and talk about how dangerous an intersection was at the intersection of 59 and 542. And, Assistant Engineer Matt Epperson was able to talk to Mr. Kenneth Hall, and we were able to go down there and meet with him along with Commissioner Kelly at one point, and talk to him about the limited sight distance because of the intersection being in a curve, and that the property he owned adjacent to the intersection had an embankment that if, just off the prescriptive right-of-way, that if it were cut back and the trees removed, that the oncoming traffic into the intersection would have well over 100 more feet of sight distance, which can mean a lot. And so with that, you know, we had just a verbally agreement. We had marked off with some taping what we thought would get us that 100 feet, and he had stated that with some financial compensation, he'd be willing, so we had agreed to the amount in this proposed agreement, and I've sent it for Ben for his review. He stated that we probably need to go with a easement, just do a simple write-up of it. And so I've sent this off to Ben for his review, and this will be what I'm asking approval of, pending the approval of the county attorney.
Okay.
Any questions? Okay. And next up would be, we have 3 position fill requests on the attachments for Mr. Dalton Moore, Mr. Ted Smitherman, Mr. Dustin Devers. For the positions, pay rate and effective date is shown on the attachments, and I'll be asking approval for those.
Okay.
And in fiscal year '24, fiscal year '23 and fiscal year '24, we submitted A-Trip 2 applications to improve the, and of course, A-Trip 2 is a program, a grant program, is something that came out of Rebuild Alabama. And basically, all cities and counties can apply for a $2 million grant to improve a state road. This has been kind of awkward for counties in the state because if the project exceeds $2 million, the county is responsible for those costs. And of course, with the all of the inflation and being one thing that's pushed up costs, another thing is ALDOT, since it's a state road, ALDOT oversees the design of the project. So what the county thinks may be adequate is a certain amount of asphalt. The state may think otherwise. And this project we applied for, we had limited sight distance. We have limited sight distance at the intersection of where County Road 50 intersects State Road 191. And we felt like if we could raise the intersection and cut the embankment just on the north side down, that would give those motors, it would make the intersection much safer. So the state, after we submitted the application, they asked us if if the commission is willing to bear the financial burden in case the scope of work increases, and they mentioned that they won't know until they do the preliminary engineering work of going out and surveying the site, checking the horizontal and vertical, the horizontal curves and the vertical curves. Possibly the horizontal curve may need to be changed, or so that maybe additional right-of-way might be required, they think. It's not something that we could see, but I guess the state's just trying to give us a bunch of what-ifs, and are you prepared?
How much you figure that's gonna be?
Well, there's no telling. Like I said, the state is over their project. But I think it is, I hate not to apply for the $2 million, even though a lot of counties have resisted applying for that reason. I mean, I think that would benefit the citizens, and there's been numerous accidents at that intersection and probably a ton of close calls.
Does everybody know where that intersection is?
Yes.
Yeah, if anybody's been there knows that definitely needs fixing.
So, what I would like to tell the state is, in our estimate,
191 going landmark.
Oh,
Yeah.
Pleasant Grove.
I guess I could verbally tell the state that in our estimate, we did put in a lot of quantities for contingency in our way to make sure that we had enough funds, the $2 million. And we did put an application. Of course, the county understands that we would be responsible. And of course, if y'all are good with it, I think that if it did overrun a little, that the county would probably, you would be willing to maybe use some of our Rebuild Alabama funds to assist in that project?
I think from my standpoint on that, it's probably a good idea to go and do it. I mean, I've crossed there plenty of times. I'm sure everybody else has too. But that one spot on 191, it's not a good place to pull out.
Neither coming from Pete Land's store on 50, trying to cross over 191.
That's it.
You cannot turn and look back to the right.
No,
So, yes, it's a dangerous intersection.
yeah.
We worked several wrecks there when I used to be employed with the sheriff's department, several fatality wrecks.
All right.
Well, I'll let the state know that we're committed to that application and the project cost. And like I said, I don't see it exceeding $2 million, but again, there's always a risk. And next, it's that time of the year again. Also, with the Rebuild Alabama program came a Rebuild Alabama annual grant program. With this, each county and city can apply for a $250,000 grant with no match, or up to $350,000 grant with a $100,000 match. And we actually submitted a grant application last year that was awarded. It was one of the, I forgot how many hundreds they received, and only so many were selected. So I imagine we'd probably be on the low end of you know, being the top contender since we just got one and we're still doing that project hopefully. But I think we still should put an application in. So if you could think of something that might be noteworthy around that cost range, or maybe even we could possibly, when budget time comes, and maybe add some matching funds of our own for a more costly project.
Okay. All right,
Thank you for your time.
thank you. Board of Registrars.
Good afternoon, you guys.
Good afternoon.
I think I've had the pleasure of meeting each one of you individually in some way or not, but I'll reintroduce myself formally. I'm Hunter Staggs. I've been working in the Chilton County Board of Registrar's office for the last 5 years. My cohorts are Pamela Kelly. She's been there respectively 25 years. Good long time, almost longer than I've been alive. And Miss Sherry or Donna Cox, she's been there for 12 years. In case you haven't had the pleasure of meeting us in the capacity of the Board of Registrars, the three of us conduct business in there each day. I put a note on our door because people say, what's a registrar? Voter registration, that's what we do. So I just put voter registration on our door. We do work 5 days a week. We maintain the poll books and the voter rolls. We support elections. We are the only people in the county that work elections daily. Other places respectively that are involved, the probate office, the sheriff's office, it's one of the things they're tasked with, but it's our primary responsibility. We also update mapping. Right now we've got the city of Clanton. They got a big project going on, updating their maps. That falls to us to get those things done. So we do conduct business daily. We keep these things up to date. And we do take pride in our county that we have some of the cleanest elections. We were the second county to have all of our results finalized in the recent presidential election. That's because our work is done well, it's done on time, and it's done quickly. Just in case you don't know, our office is a little strange. We do work in the county. We work on county business under the guidance of the state. We are not county employed. We are not state employed. Nobody wants us. We work a little bit in between. So we do receive a little bit of pay from the state and a little bit less pay from you guys. So it's a little bit of a weird, I like to think of it as a nice equitable service that the county only pays a third of our pay and the state pays the other 2/3, although we do perform operations for the county and the cities. We don't get any insurance, we don't get any sick days, no vacation, no bonuses. We get state holidays paid, and we do not get paid for closures, which leads me to one of the things that I would like to request from you guys today. Last week, we had a big mess with the courthouse closing. I talked to Chairperson Alan Williams a couple of times, and I did ask him jokingly, how does it feel to be the most popular man in the county today? And he had his own personal things going on at the same time, so I feel for him. We do not get admin pay. Typically, so like just for an example for you guys, if an act of God happens, like a hurricane and the courthouse is closed, we don't get paid. If you guys choose to close on December the 26th and the state's only closed on the 25th, we don't get paid. So last week, because the courthouse was closed due to malfeasance of maintenance, we do not get paid. We typically overlook those things. It's just part of it. We are asking for a one-time admin pay last week due to it not being our fault, and with the anticipation that you guys may close later this month for an additional holiday. We're asking for those 2 days to be considered for a one-time administrative pay. I did submit that earlier today. We are currently paid at a rate of $122 per day, 42 of which the county pays. The amount would total to $732 of wages for those 2 days, respectively. The difference of which what the state would normally pay versus what you guys would pay is $480. So we're asking for $732 of wages, but the state isn't gonna pay their part because we didn't work, so we're really only asking you for a $480 deviation from what's allotted in our budget. Does that make sense? I threw a lot of numbers at you just now. So we are asking for that to be considered respectfully. And then earlier this year, we did submit a cost of living pay increase. It was my understanding that it would be reviewed. We were busy with the election in October and it got overlooked. So we are asking also for a $3 per day pay raise as a part of our county stipend. That works out to about 3% of the total. And I did submit that earlier. That would be effective in January.
Okay.
Any questions from either of those two things?
No, I think you did a good job, Hunter. Thank you. All right, brings us down to to commissioners. Commissioner Billingsley. Commissioner Bone.
I got a couple of things. I've talked to several department heads here, and I think they're not gonna be doing much business on the 26th, day after Christmas. I'll be asking for a resolution to close the courthouse December the 26th.
Okay. What else?
I think we got several text messages over the week about the seal.
Yeah.
I think we all agreed on that one seal. I'll be asking for a resolution to officially adopt that seal that Tiffany had drawn up for our official seal.
Is it sort of like this one's back here, or is it different, or?
No, not really.
It is similar, it's got a different color to it.
Just a little bit different.
Do we currently have an official seal?
Change seals, I mean, I don't really, I've seen.
The one that, I got like that.
That's our official one.
The first
It
one
won't
she
be
sent out on the
changing
card.
anything until something's renewed,
The one I
changing
like.
the seal over to that.
Yeah, that ugly thing.
The one I like.
I'll show it to you later. And I got one more thing. Our park ranger down at Higgins Ferry
What's it
encountered,
cost?
sir,
What's it costing us to change the seal? Nothing?
nothing.
I'm good.
Well, what's the seal on all the trucks, the current trucks?
That's just on the road department.
It's just road department.
That's
All
not,
the
actually,
carriers.
that's just
They'll
a,
get
part-
changed
that's
out
not-
to the official
But that's
seal
what-
anyway.
That's what Joe was talking about. We wanna run official seal on everything, do we
Well, when
not?
these trucks get turned over, they get turned over every year. When they get turned over, they get the new seals on them.
Yeah. You'll see it first on the business cards.
our park ranger down at Higgins Ferry encountered a real messy situation. And, I would like to send him a care package, cause he worked late that night cleaning up that mess. And I mean, it's a real messy situation. So here's you some peanut butter, some chocolate milk, and a loaf of bread, because I think in that Facebook post you was eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and some chocolate milk. So if you can come up here and get your care package, I appreciate it.
And if you who do not know what he's talking about, he had problems with the toilet at Higgins Ferry Park, just so the story will be complete now, and he fixed it on
I said
his
it was a
own.
messy situation.
Well, yeah. It was a very messy situation.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Okay. You have anything else?
That's it.
Commissioner Childers?
I may make a comment or two on Ms. Hall's or somebody else's.
Okay.
Mr. Perkins.
All right, Commissioner Headley? Commissioner Perkins?
You skipped Sheila.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Skip
Oh,
Miss
I'm
Mrs.
sorry.
Hall over here.
I'm sorry. Commissioner Hall, I apologize.
Have my thing on. Okay, first I'm gonna ask Commissioner Childers to elaborate on the shelter, how we've acquired at the county commission for clarity purposes, just like you elaborated when we were getting ready to appoint to.
With each individual
Yes.
candidate?
Yeah,
Okay.
so the general public
Sure.
would know.
Glad to. So, in the past, the shelter, the animal shelter, and I don't know if all of you have ever been down there, it's in pretty rough shape. And we've allocated $150,000 to, upgrade the shelter. So, and that's happening now. I've got one bid back and we'll do, we're still waiting on others, Ms. Hall. But, the county owns that facility, but the operational control for that facility has been with the Humane Society. And so they had complete operational control. And at times it was fantastic and at times it wasn't. And so there's been a period of time that's long enough that it just wasn't. So the previous commission, and we've picked up the ball and agreeing with it, and we're going to form a department. And we're gonna hire a director and an assistant director, and we're gonna hire what's the
Two
techs?
techs. Two
Shelter
techs.
techs, is that what we're calling them? And so these people will be employees of the county, so operational control will be removed from the Humane Society, which will still exist and will be important to us, but the operational control day-to-day will be under the county. So, the Humane Society still has their own board that are autonomous. Some of them are here tonight, I think. And so we will lean on them to try to help volunteers, because we're not gonna be able to hire enough people to get it all done all the time. And the Humane Society is gonna be an important partner. But our goal is to raise the level significantly of how we're handling the animal control. We do have a state statute that puts the county in charge and responsible for animal control. And so we're about to upgrade the way we do that.
Okay, thank you for explaining that to the general public, because I don't make that for the record, because taking on this position, I was asked or voluntold or agreed to take on Humane Society. And so I just like the general public to know I'm a very transparent person. So I ask a lot of questions so I can better understand what's going on. Because there's a lot of, as Alan, I'll reiterate, has been good, bad, and ugly with this Humane Society. I hope going forward, as we did interviews for a director to take over, because we need better direction. So right now, we're in the process of doing background checks and doing a lot of things. Hopefully, we can hand down recommendations to the commission next month to see who we will move forward with to be appointed as a director. And at that time, and I'll stand corrected, that director can work more to see who they want in position.
That's right.
And to work with the Humane Society, because, and once again, all this is new to me, but I want to be effective in my position as a commissioner to do, because there's a lot of talk, a lot of this, that, and the other, but we want to be successful because we appreciate the support of the rescues, the volunteers, and just getting a better sense of direction, because the best thing we all can have is an understanding. We can agree to disagree, but under my care, during my term, I want to be transparent and for us to move the better for these animals, because in my life, that was my really first time visiting a shelter, and I don't understand all about it. So that's kind of good and could be bad, because I'm just new to it all. So we want to move forward, and the support of the people, that's what we're going to need, because we need our donors. We need the support and to work with the cities and everyone involved. So next month, we should be able to give recommendations to the commissioners. Did I leave anything out?
I might add too, Commissioner Hall, that not only has the county committed more funds, we have other municipalities that have committed significant more funds. So we're gonna have some horsepower that we can hopefully set this right pretty quickly.
And get right people in place, right person, right job, right attitudes. I believe we can achieve much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good report. Okay, now, Commissioner Headley.
No.
Commissioner Perkins.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm gonna beat everybody to the punch since it's our only meeting in December, and wish everybody a Merry Christmas in the county. Also, I'm gonna spin this around a little bit, as it's listed on everybody's agenda, and basically just keep it, really short for an update. There's nothing actionable, on it. I had on here on the agenda, discuss some, subdivision rules and regulations, is of course the title of our book, right? So, because of the abolition of the committees, several committees as one of our first acts, I just wanted to give a little bit of update and assure that the county still understood that we're working diligently on coming up with doing some things through an amendment process, and working closely with the engineer, myself, Commissioner Childers and our chairman, Mr. Williams, to try to come up with a package that I'm going to attempt to get this together and present to the commission, probably in January. For your review, you'll get an email form first, and then have it in our work session. But I just wanted to assure everybody in the county that we are still taking it serious, that nothing's been tabled indefinitely, just with the abolition of committees, that we are still working toward some resolutions in some areas that to make it a really good package. And I think everybody, well, not everybody, but most everybody would appreciate the work and what goes into it. So that's kind of where I'm at. Just a little update on what we've been working on.
All right, appreciate that, Commissioner Perkins, and I don't have anything. So if all minds are satisfied, we will reunite here at 6:30 tomorrow night for our regular meeting. All right. Y'all have a